Hello everyone, welcome to Commercial Farming with the Dirt Road Farmer. How's everyone today? Well, today, if you watched my last video, I told you that we needed some straw for our cattle. We're getting low in our silo, so I thought that this would be a good time to get some of this stuff done. It's one of those necessary things. We have to have the straw for our cattle. This doesn't necessarily directly make us any money, but indirectly it does. Because we need it for the cows. So we're getting this harvested, and we will be picking this straw up loose and putting it in our hay silo up by where our cows are at. And yeah, so we've got two harvesters running in this field, and we usually tend to have quite a bit of straw that comes off of this. So we've got 3 tractors set up, and they're going to be set up on Autodrive, but they're set up to run back and forth to the silo. They'll run up there and empty into the silo and come back here. Now we will pick the straw up ourselves, and then send the tractors on their way. Hire a worker to take it and deliver it for us. So anyway, we're on our way, and it won't be much longer. These guys will have this field of wheat done, and we'll get started on the straw. All right, well, we have got all the wheat off this field, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to jump up in here. We've got to bring our HUD back up. That's the only bad thing. And if you notice over here on our Autodrive, we've got, this is field 5 where we're at. So we're picking up at field 5 staging. We're going to deliver it to the hay silo, which is the one up there by our cows, and we're hauling straw. Okay, so what I do is I set all 3 of these guys up to do the same thing. Whenever they get back here and I'm ready to use this tractor and loading wagon, I go over here and I dismiss that one. Okay, and then we'll come around now. We can get rid of the HUD for right now until we go to send this guy on his way. So what I do is we get around over here. If you notice, the other 2 moved up. So we're going to turn this guy on, lower the pickup, and we're going to start loading straw. Just like that. Yep. Now, these are those new loading wagons that come out. TARDIS, I think is what they're called. We can go look at it. I forget now what it's called. Well, they're branded Lizard, but they do hold quite a bit. I think 200,000 liters, I think. So, yeah. we don't have to worry about capacity. Now I'm hoping that these three will keep up with us, and I'm almost sure that they will. But you know, we'll see. If we need, I don't think, you know, even if we had to wait for one of them to get back, I don't think that's going to be too terribly bad. But it really does work pretty good when you're hauling a loose straw and you got a pretty good ways to go with it. Yeah. All right. And we'll whip around here. And we'll just continue on. All right. Now we can turn our HUD back on. And as you can see, we're not even halfway being loaded yet. So I think that between the three of these tractors, yeah, they're going to keep up real nicely. Real nicely. So we'll turn that HUD back off. And whenever we do get loaded, I'll show you what I do with them. Basically, all you do is you go put him on a track that you know where the roads all run, because you have set your Autodrive track up so you know where it's at. You go put him on the track and just tell him to go empty. And he'll go and empty, and he'll come back and he'll fall in behind the next one in line. Works real good. And like I said, with us, there is not a bit of sense in us baling this straw with the setup that we have for feeding our cows. There's no sense at all in baling it unless we were going to sell it. Now that is an option that I've been looking into, is, you know, baling some of our straw. We've got a barley field that's ready to be harvested, but I thought about baling some of this straw and selling it. So we'll just have to see. You know, that's kind of a big ordeal, and there's a lot of expense. Hold on, I don't want to skip too much straw there. Getting off track. We don't want a whole lot of expense involved that we can't recoup, and straw just isn't worth that much money. But it is worth some money. And as far as fertilizing the field, we have slurry for that. Now we can put that slurry down here, and actually I think the slurry would be worth more to us putting it on the field than it would be selling it to the biogas plant, you know. So anyway, let's see how close we are to getting loaded. Yeah, it won't be too much longer. We'll just leave the HUD on, because we should be getting done here pretty shortly. We should be getting a load. And but yeah, we need some place to go with our slurry that's going to be beneficial to us, and I think this would be probably the most beneficial that you could get. All right, we are loaded. So basically what I do is I'll take this guy out here about somewhere in here, and I'll tell him to go empty. And by doing that, we've already got him programmed in. We just hit the go button. We bail out of him. He'll go empty. He'll come back. And yeah. And while he's doing that, we're going to load another trailer. So yes, it works real good. We'll turn him on. We'll get around here and finish picking this row up. And like I said, before we get loaded again, or close, he'll be back. So that way we never have to stop. We just keep on keeping on. So we can get rid of the HUD. We're not even close to being loaded. And we just keep picking up straw. So anyway, I'm going to work on this for a while, and I'll get back with you in just a little bit. Alright, we're about to get trailer number 2 loaded. And I don't think the number 3 tractor has made it back, or that first tractor has made it back yet. But it doesn't matter because we've got 3 of them. So, yeah, it really does work real good. Alright, we're loaded. We'll go over here. Put him on the, just tell him to go. And he's going. Oh, it looks like our first tractor did make it back. So now we'll just switch over to this one. Alright, get rid of that driver. Starting. And we are off. And we'll go up here where we got loaded with the other one, and we'll start right there. Like I said, it really works good for loose hay in our particular application. There is not a bit of use in baling that. That's just added expense. But yeah, when it comes to selling it, some places won't accept loose hay. They want bales, you know, and yeah. All right, and we're off again. All right, well, we're going to continue on here, and I'll get back with you here in just a few minutes. All right. Well, we're gaining on it. We have sent, what, four tractors, I think, on their way. 4 loads. So, yeah, we're gaining on it. So, but you know, this reminds me of my younger days. Now, you have to keep in mind, we were poor people. You know, we didn't have money at all. And what you did as a teenager to make money was work for different farmers. And we had farmers that had, you know, in comparison to a commercial farm, it was nowhere near a commercial farm. But, you know, they had 400 or 500 head of cattle, maybe. Some of them only had 100 head of cattle, just depending on how big they were. But most of them, and keep in mind, this was before all the animated stuff. And I guess not animated, but I'm talking automatic. You know, like the things that pick bales up in the field, the trailers that would pick the bales up. Yeah, yeah. Well, this was before that time. So, if you wanted to take your girlfriend out that weekend or buy gas for your car, you was limited on how many places you could actually work. Now, that's not a bad thing. There's not anything wrong with a good hard day's work in the field. And I say still yet today, if you haven't experienced the summer of hauling hay, you need to. Yeah, yeah. Well, now when we hauled hay, there would usually be 5 of us, and sometimes 6. Now what that meant was a lot of times we hauled it on a pickup. If we didn't have a good hay trailer, if the farmer didn't have a good hay trailer, and depending on how far they had to haul that hay, we would use a pickup. Well, you needed one guy either on the trailer or in the back of a pickup, whichever you're hauling on, and you had 2 guys on each side of the pickup. Okay, and then you had to have a driver. So what you would do is you would go down the middle of 2 different rows that were of baled hay, and the 2 guys on one side would handle that row, and the 2 guys on the other side would handle the other row. Now, what you didn't want to do was end up the guy in the bed of the pickup or the guy on the trailer. Now that guy, he earned his money, let me tell you, because yeah, he's handling every bale, whereas the guys on the ground, yes, they're having to walk, but you know, and pick the bales up and throw them up on the trailer. Well, even though they're having to do that, they're not handling but what, 1/3 of the bales or 1/4 of the bales, let's put it that way. Yeah, well, now it wasn't like you took that hay somewhere and you just throwed it off the truck and stacked it or just let it go. Oh no, 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 that ain't the way it worked at all. Now what you had to do is, most of the time we had to take it to the barn, and if we had to stack it in a loft, well, we had an elevator. You know, the farmers usually, if they were, you know, in the practice of having hay stacked in the loft, well, then they would have an elevator. But most of them didn't stack it in a loft, that we hauled far anyway. No. What we done was we took it and we stacked it in the barn. But now that's a big deal right there, because now it takes every one of you to stack it, and we were probably stacking it 10 or 12 feet tall, you know, 10 or 12 feet high in that barn. So yeah, so then you were handling every bale again. Oh yeah. So, but now let's talk about what you got paid to do that. Well, you know, it got to where we did get a raise on it, and it went up to $0.05 a bale. Now you're saying, boy, that's not too bad. Wait a minute. We had to share that $0.05 a bale. the farmers paid a nickel a bale to get it hauled. You know, and if they had 400 bales on the ground, well, that's what they paid, was a nickel a bale. They didn't pay each one of us a nickel a bale. No, no, no. No. They paid a nickel a bale to get it hauled. Oh, yeah. So it wasn't like you were going to get rich doing this, you know. Not at all. It was a lot of hard work, I'm telling you. But that's what you did. You know, you either did that or you helped people cut firewood, haul it and stack it. It was hard work. But, you know, you learn. You learn from that. You learn to appreciate the things that we have today. And all the automation and everything that we have today. So, and you know, what we're doing right now, picking this straw up, no. No, we didn't have that. Nope. Everything was baled. And it was square bales. And some of them bales had wire ties on them. Wire twine, you know, where you have baler twine. Well, some of them bales, depending on the farmer, they had wire. And yeah, you talk about eating you up. Yeah, it was tough. But anyway, that's what we did when we were young to make money, to take our girlfriends out, you know, to eat a hamburger, maybe see a show. Yeah, that's what we did. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on this straw a little more, and I'll get back with you here in just a few minutes. All right, well, we kind of made short work out of that, didn't we? Yeah. But you know, why don't we stop right here and let's jump out of the tractor for a minute. And let's bring our HUD up. Now, if you notice, over here in the right-hand bottom corner, we have no fertilizer. All right. The reason for that is because we're picking the straw up. The chopped straw mod doesn't do you any good unless you're spreading that straw on this field. And then it becomes your first stage of fertilizer. That's where you get 50%. But we're picking the straw up. So we're not leaving any fertilizer. So you know what that means? Yeah, that means we have to fertilize it. Now, we have cows, and we have a lot of slurry. So that's what we're going to do. Now, what we have to do, the first thing, because Farming Simulator says we have to, is we have to mulch this field. And we have to take it down to nothing. Basically, you're cutting everything off. And then we can come in with our slurry spreader and spread our slurry. But that's not the end of it. We're not ready to plant yet. We have to come in with a cultivator then, and we have to change the ground texture. If we do not, then we won't get the second stage of fertilizer out of our planter. And that's just the way it is. I don't know why, because it's a direct drill, and yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But nevertheless, that is the way it is. You have to change the ground texture. If you put the first stage of fertilizer on by hand. If the first stage of fertilizer comes from the chopped straw mod, then you do not have to change the ground texture. It will take second stage. So that's where you're at on that deal. So anyway, I guess in our next video we'll do just that, and we'll get this field replanted, and yeah. But anyway, if you've liked this content, don't forget to go down there and hit that like button. I would sure appreciate it. It means the world to me. It really does. But I do think we're going to call it a day. And as a dirt road farmer, and as always, thank you for watching.